So thank you guys for being here. And shall we get started? Let's talk a bit about content strategy. Elena, we'll start with you, just to start, keep things spicy. So Elena from Yango Play, we'd love to know a bit about Yango Play's content strategy. How do you feed the MENA audience?
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming this lovely morning through amazing Dubai traffic. And regarding the content strategy, I would say, I don't know if by any chance, surprisingly, you are not our subscriber. The content strategy is very much connected with what the product is. I mean, because I think Yango Play introduced in the region kind of unique products because we are super app, we are ecosystem, we are combining all the types of entertainment in one app. And that's why it's not only about video content, which is definitely the massive part of our proposition, but it's also about opportunity to stream music, it's opportunity to play casual games. We also have AI bilingual voice assistant called Yasmina. So it's more than just watching exciting content. But as for music, we're not aiming to any exclusivity, more to the broadest library we can have. In video, of course, we are aiming to have something specific to us, like first runs, exclusives, own productions. And for us, so far, we're very young, as you probably know. I mean, we're less than 1 year old, baby. So that's why we're in the very beginning, and we are kind of shaping what we want to have and propose to people. But for us, it's a combination of originals and acquisitions and first runs. We target broad audiences, but with the focus. We definitely have the focus to the younger audiences, that are massive in the region. I mean, the MENA is young, Egypt is young, UAE is young, all the countries we are talking, GCC is very young. And that's why we are more mate in terms of who we are as Yango Play. And in terms of content, we are trying to find young faces, work with kind of contemporary modern directors. As a recent example, one of our first originals that we launched in September was elife, the unscripted reality show, which was kind of an experiment and risk-taking because, I mean, she's controversial, though she's amazing, she's fashion icon, she's...
It was all over social media.
Yeah, and
you guys dominated the conversation.
It was very buzz-generating, I would say, and and it was one of the things to attract those young audiences that are in social media constantly. And the proof of concept we have that at Broadcast Pro Awards recently we got the award for the best unscripted, and I think it worked. And in terms of acquisitions, we also are looking for the first, hot from cinemas, the first window of big theatrical blockbusters, and some of the kind of shows and series that we acquire, but that also should target this young kind of demand for young, fresh faces. When I call young, I don't necessarily mean teenagers, obviously. I'm talking about 18 to 35 with a focus of 25, 35 as a core.
Thank you so much, Elena. Mohammed Ogaily, so OSN Plus and Anghami, two huge powerhouses. Tell us a bit about your content strategy.
Sure.
Any nice tidbits, insights, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, definitely. At OSN Plus, we've always been focused on delivering global content with global standards, but also with local appeal. So, as you may know, we have a multi-year exclusivity deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, which includes HBO and includes a lot of very high-end shows, which drives a lot of our growth. But that's not enough. The local part plays a big role. We've invested in originals before. We have a very cool original coming in Q1 called Fashionista. It's a very cool Kuwaiti show that also talks to young audiences. And working whether with Turkish dubbed shows or with other local content has always been an additional benefit to talk to the local markets, in addition to the global, international shows and movies that we acquire through our global partners.
And Fashionista comes out in 2025?
Yes, Q1 of 2025.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout for that. Farah, StarzPlay, we'd love to know a bit more about your content strategy.
Yeah, so as my colleagues in the industry said, so we always look at content that caters to all types of viewers, and we rely on data analysis and consumption of the content that we have on our platform to identify what is working best and what our viewers are, or the audience is hungry to see more, which gives you a wide range of content to select from, whether it's local or international, different genres to cater to different age groups. As a platform, we are covering sports and entertainment, and kids, we have a wide range also for that. And we also do the local production, and we also have original launching on the 27th of November, 27th or 28th, something like that. It's Unstoppable, and it's a sport show with kids competing to reach the top place, and the opportunity to play with the Italian league, with the Serie A, since we cover the exclusively Serie A, the Italian league.
I love that.
So it's kids and their passion with football in the region. So Arab kids with Italian coaches and Arab coaches guiding them and competing towards the top #1 position. So yeah, it's the strategy, as I said, it's focusing on what the audience is asking for and always diversify with the content, whether it's local or global. And it's always trial and error. Something might work with a platform, might not work with the other. It's what your audience wants. You will always attract new audience with new content, but you have to also be loyal to your audience that has been with you throughout your journey. So yeah, it's diversity also.
Thank you, Farah. Mohammed, Hamid, Ittisalat, and more. We'd love to know more about your content strategy, any originals coming up in the pipeline, how you work towards it.
So for the strategy that we have across all the territories, as we have many services that goes across the MENA region. So our strategy first is to have content that cater for all the flavors, for the different demographics.
Can you bring the mic a bit?
Sure. It's better? Yeah. So for the different demographic that we have across the territory, we need to make sure that we give content that cater for everyone. And for the different tiers of our customers, you have the young generation in the GCC, so mainly we focus more on growing on the kids' content, and we trying to be more specialized in some areas, like sports, for instance. If you look at cricket now, as EAN, we're the house of cricket. So we offer that sport. As we see it, there is a lot of demand happening in the region. And as you said, to your point, so we're moving into the originals and some of the co-production, where we see that now people are coming after certain content that they want to see consistency of having the such content that you have and providing an edge across the services that's coming across this region. So pretty much we're more getting into specialized area in our content strategies.
Thank you, Mohammed. Guys, what's the most surprising trend or preference you've seen with MENA viewers in the region? What's something that's really surprised you?
I think I'll go first. So earlier this year, we launched our new premium tier, which includes 4K content. And one thing we did not know exactly what to expect in is how much this will appeal to the local audiences, because it's more expensive than what we've usually done.
The 4K
the
tier.
4K, yeah, the 4K tier or the premium tier is more expensive than the usual. And although we've got requests before for it, we expected like a 10-20% of people to actually go for it. When we launched it, the number was 47%. 47% of users are interested in the highest tier, in the premium experience. And this tells you a lot about the situation, the current situation in the region, and the interest, and people needing a good experience, good content, and going after it. It's no longer about price sensitivity, especially in the GCC markets. It's more about who can give me a good experience with great content. And that number clearly showed that for us.
Anyone have anything they'd like to add? Yeah.
So one thing that we've seen that there is more interest in type of content that it wasn't off the board where, like for instance, we've seen the Korean content is increasing. The number of viewership that we get on the Korean content and the anime, for instance, is that we have a lot of viewership that was coming on the such content that we were surprised in that region that people are interested, and it's from different demographics. Like you see, Arabs are interested in more Korean and Spanish content right now. So I think the direction is changing from having just a huge global and just local content is looking into the other aspects of the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't think language is a barrier anymore. People are open to viewing. And interesting also that you see a lot of people watching in original language, not to kill the vibe, watch in original language with the subtitles.
I hate dubbing.
Yeah,
I need to
so
watch the original
just
language
watch the
because I
original
feel that's more
language,
authentic.
Yeah. Also, it's the appetite, I think, it's growing more and more for local production, like, and adaptation of international IPs. You see that a lot. People are open now to global programs and reality, scripted, unscripted shows. So also that has a big appetite in the region, which increases, and I think it motivates the local broadcasters to work more into local productions and bringing the international IPs to local and having like local faces doing that, which is appealing also in the market.
To support Farah in this storytelling, I would say that it's not just MENA trend; it's global trend, but it's very visible in MENA. It's demand for high quality but very local, hyper local content. Because I think what happened is because of all the lockdowns and COVID and whatever, people stayed at home and became very sophisticated viewers. They consumed that amount of content that gave them opportunity to kind of define what is great, what is what the dynamic should be, what the storytelling should be. And it was mostly kind of global, Western, whatever. And then because of also this isolation and the new trend in everything, in marketing and everything was local community, neighborhood, etc. And people understood that they want really local stories, and it's very relevant. That's why we see Arabic content booming. But audiences have huge demand into storytelling and quality of production. So I think that the biggest trend right now is having local things, but produced on the levels that people got used to by international players.
I'm curious what you all think of the whole 90-episode Arabized Turkish thing, because it's taking over in the last few years. No pressure.
I'll start. Obviously, as you said, it's working out, and if anything, it tells you how much people are interested in binge watching something and are willing to commit long term with a show. I personally hate committing to a long show, but you're seeing more and more how much people are consuming such content, because maybe some of it is very simple to watch, very easy to watch. You put it in the background, you watch it every day. It becomes part of your routine. People want that again. We used to have that with binge watching the old shows. Yeah, exactly, the Latin shows. So this trend is coming back. Is it for everyone? I don't think so. Yeah. But it is a new trend that Turkey gave to us.
I think also it's the time where you launch such series, because we know in the region you have winter and summer. Summer, no one sits and watches TV. And to sit and binge watch these long series, it's the time when to launch, like the peak time. And the production plays a big role, and also the celebrities that are taking part. So it's a full package to look at, I think.
Anyone have anything to add on this topic? Okay. Mohammed Hamid. I'd love to talk about risk. What risks do you think there are risks being taken in the market, or is the same thing being done over and over? Is there room for more?
There is always room for risk, and I think the more risk you take in choosing the type of content that you're offering will help a lot. And we've been going in a smooth way of choosing what type of content that we introduce on, and we're having some guidelines that we have to follow. But if we're a little bit bold and taking risk, I think we will have an edge, and we can more successful in the service and get, like more subscriber to come and watch, and more loyalty and engagement that happen on our services and platforms that we offer.
And I would also love to know if any of you can share a time where you took a risk with something and maybe it flopped or maybe it paid off.
I have a great example.
Tell us.
Yeah, so I've been with StarzPlay a year and a couple of months now, and as one of the oldest SVOD platforms in the region, I've seen a very great example that StarzPlay actually took risk in when everyone was shying away from the sports industry, and knowing that BN is the Mogul when it comes to dominating sports. StarzPlay had this strategic forward-thinking plan, and they actually looked at underrepresented types of strong niche sports in the region, and went and did deals for rugby, basketball EuroLeague, Italian football Serie A, and our main tentpoles, the cricket and the UFC, that are exclusively. Not deny that this takes a big chunk of our audience in the platform, and we can imagine the audience that the cricket and the UFC have in the region. And as Mohammed was mentioning before, cricket is a main dominant sports in this region, other than football, which we know where it is. But it's something that I think StarzPlay did take a risk in that, and didn't shy away when everyone was shying away on sports. So I just would like to highlight on that risk.
Mohammed, I feel like you want to say something.
Yeah, no, just to add to what Farah was saying on the sports part, like for instance, golf been an area that's died since OSN dropped it, and then we picked it up because there is a niche market, and we've seen, especially in UAE and the GCC, the golf been growing massively, and the number of tournaments that's coming, it's tripled in the past 5 years. So we see that niche market and the niche audience are really growing. So that's one risk that we took like 3 years back, and now we see massive audience that's coming on the platform.
In our case, the risk was more on the business side. As you may know, we did a merger between Anghami and OSM Plus earlier this year. And that decision on its own was a big risk of combining a music streaming platform with a video on-demand platform. For some people, it made no sense. Why are these two in one company? But for us, it made sense because there's a lot of synergy between having a music streaming platform and a VOD. And what we ended up is having one of the biggest entertainment platforms in the region, combining those two elements in it. And post-merger, we ended up with an 18% growth for OSN Plus, because they're complementary, because we're able to create a bigger entertainment story in the region that is not there yet. And it's even globally, it's rare. We still have a long path to prove that this is the way forward, but it's definitely been a high risk thing, but we've been proving so far in the past few months how it actually will pay off.
With all my respect, sorry, but I mean, the launch itself, I mean, for us, the main risk was the launch itself, with the introduction of all this category of super app and like combination of various entertainment services. So I would say it's, and as I said, we're young, we are learning on our mistakes. It's not a mistake, definitely. We'll have a lot to learn. It's a curve. But introducing the whole new super app thing, I think it was the main, which is, as you said, is not introduced even globally massively. So, entering such a competitive market was the one.
I'm going to dig deeper. Does anyone have a risk that didn't pay off? And what learnings do you have from that?
I would say there's always, it's a trial and error, because sometimes you watch a show and you think that this show will be a mega hit, like smashing show, but then the audience will see it in a different perspective. So it's perspective, how you see it and how the other party will see it. You invest in it hoping that it will be successful, but it's a flop. Same like Hollywood. You cannot like not look at that. Some movies have massive budget, A-list actors, storyline, everything, full package, and then you go to the cinema and it's a flop. That's an international flop that no one can hide anymore. But as an industry, it's a trial and error. It's you invest in shows hoping that it will be successful, but the audience has different point of view. So I think we all went through this as platforms, linear, digital, any type of platform, any type of business, I think goes through this risk-taking and flopping situation. And you learn from it, obviously.
Yeah, I'll second what Farah said. This whole industry is about the bets you put on the content you're launching, and your whole plans are based on what you expect from each series or movie and how they're going to perform. We've had a lot of examples before of series that we thought are going to succeed and did not. And of course, examples where there were some underdogs that we did not expect will actually work out and people will enjoy, and they worked. So it's all about betting, all about knowing what to expect from each series or each piece of content.
Elena, how do you balance the demand for local, culturally resident content and more globally appealing content?
Well, I think that we do not really balance. I mean, we have a diverse proposition at the service in terms of video content. We have bits and pieces of Western evergreens, we have a bit of Turkish, but our commitment is kind of having the best Arabic content for Arabic audiences and like serving local needs. We are not playing broad in this field. I mean, we are trying to be very, very focused and, as I said, like serve our target audience. And like to give you a perfect example, like for example, right now we have two very close upcoming originals coming. So one is talking about long-run Turkish series. We went a bit different way and we are producing our own long-run, like Levantine shooting right now with kind of amazing original script by Nora Shakshakli with kind of very young, interesting cast. I mean, it's broadcast, of course, it's long run. There are lots of lines and lots of characters, but we focus on youngsters, as I said, and we have Remy Akel, like young, beautiful activist, poet, actress, very unconventional, like it's for me amazing. And Samer Ismail, who is the huge star, and I think he's shining right now in one of the Turkish adaptations. We decided to go more original way. And it's also like for the same audience, but a bit different way. We're producing now like with the best-in-class kind of television production company and with the director Tamer Mohsen and with the script writer of Al Harifa and with amazing young cast, Asma Galal and Tahed Souki and Ali Kassem. Another like limited, synergetic genre, crime, but a bit of adventure and action, shot in various countries, still through Arabic, and combining also fictional and some hints at true crime. So we are very dedicated to be local in our originals and first runs. And then, of course, we have broader proposition for like prevent churn, to keep people using us on daily basis, because it's impossible to produce this level of content like constantly and each and every week.
I love that you mentioned so many different genres because I feel like we see so much of the same repetitive genres in the Arab world. We don't see sci-fi, we don't see horror. There's so much that we don't see. I'd love to see how. I'd love to know how do you decide what genres you want to pursue in content acquisition, because there's so much room for growth and expanding and trying more variety. Mohammed, Ogaily.
Yeah, just to go back a step, I think what's cool about this industry is that, as Mohammed said earlier, it's all about niches. Although we're all competitors in a sense, we're also, from a consumer perspective, we're all complementary to each other. Because in video, there are a lot of niches, and we don't compete around the same content. And in our heads, there's someone who watches Arabic or Turkish and someone who watches HBO, Game of Thrones. In reality, it's the same person, it's the same family who enjoys both. And it's about each of us finding the niche that these people want, whether it's golf or it's heavy content like Succession or it's a Turkish 90 episode series. These are the niches we're trying to create. For us at OSN Plus, the niche we've been focused on is that big content, heavy content that comes from HBO. That was one niche that you find on OSN Plus, you don't find in other places.
The prestige dramas, all of these.
Exactly, yeah, the heavy dramas. And these have their niche, which, depending on the show, is big or small, but you can see with shows like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and a lot of The Penguin nowadays, there's a big audience for these shows. We've seen how horror is a huge thing in Saudi Arabia, for example.
From.
For
those who don't know, From is a horror show that's killing it
Yeah.
everywhere now.
From is a horror show on OSN Plus that's ending in a couple of weeks. Two more episodes coming up. And it's been performing very well. But we've had many other signals coming out of Saudi Arabia that say people want horror shows, just to go back to your point. And anyone producing Arabic horror shows is probably seeing the same metrics we're seeing. So as you said, there are different appeals for different genres. We're trying to expand our appeal to go into more comedy, more light shows, more horror for sure. But we're definitely keeping our niche in the drama, in the crime, in the horror parts.
Thanks, Mohammed. Mohammed?
So to Mohammed's point, usually some of the genres were driven by a certain compelling event in the past, where like Halloween, you will see more horror movies, and then Christmas. But we've seen a change a bit of the user behavior. So we more focused on increasing those genres that's not been before in the past, where people had wanted to see the consistency of those genres across the service and the platform, because they want to keep watching whether it's horror and sci-fi, as you said, it's becoming more interesting. So the focus more is to increase those genres in our platform and content catalog for sure, to match the growth and the dynamic of the market that's happening.
Farah, what will it take for a local production to reach global recognition? Can we have our own Squid Game, Money Heist?
Yeah, we can. We have a lot of talents in this region, and there are several boxes to tick when you're thinking internationally. You have to have the idea, the storyline that is relevant to all different globally. You have to think of it globally. It's not something local. You can have the idea that is a local born idea, but it can travel and it can resonate with different cultures, with different mindsets. It's the quality of the production itself. It's the work ethics, the professionalism, the collaborations that has to happen, and partnership. You can have a local production, but you still need to bring something internationally. Maybe a producer, maybe a director, to have big names there. And we do have talents, as in celebrities, that are now famous internationally. So it's a full package, and to take part in film festivals, to have a marketing campaign, involve influencers locally and internationally. We can achieve that. And I know as we're both Lebanese, Nadine Labaki did that, and she is now in the international list. She went into film markets, film festivals. She won international awards, and that's something that in every country, in every Arab country, we have those talents, and it just needs the support and the budget to support that.
Elena, what do you think it will take to have our own global show from
Well,
the
I
Arab
think
world?
there are already. I have an example not from our own productions, but from our acquisition side. When we just entered the market this Ramadan, we were privileged to acquire Al Hashashin, which I think created a lot of buzz, and it was exclusive with us for GCC markets, and we were co-sharing exclusive in Egypt. And I think the project was from scratch was created the way to be appealing to like outside of MENA to be global, because I mean the production value, the VFX, their theme itself. I mean, because even the word assassins is internationally known because of Assassin's Creed or Prince of Persia, whatever. You have all the components, and of course like acting, of course like themes, historic themes and toponyms, but that are relevant right now. And I mean, we had the rights only for this region, but what we know from the producers, it made great in global markets, in international markets. So I think it's, as you said, budget, profound storytelling, and high-end, polished post-production, I would say.
Anyone have anything to add on this?
Sure, yeah. So I think we're generally on that path. If you go back 10 years or 15 years ago, I would tell you no way. But today, we're on that path because you can see the quality of content, the production values are different nowadays. We're getting bigger and bigger shows every year. So I think in a couple of years, we are going to, whether it's Hashashin growing more or whether it's something like Hashashin, that will grow enough to actually reach other markets. I think we're very close to getting there, yeah.
How do you decide, I would love to know this, when to work with an international director or support local talent? Because I see a lot of Arabic productions getting a Turkish director, a Spanish director. How do you make this decision? Jump in, whoever wants.
International is a given, because you have like working with studios or independents that are international, or Western content is in general is a given. Every platform invests in that, so no argument there. When it comes to local, it's always meeting with. There's a lot of local, as in Emirates also, not only the MENA. In the Emirates, there's a lot of local talents and local projects that are always in discussion. So always have the opportunity to meet with them and have a discussion and seeing what fits also on the platform, which is, again, something we all agree on. It's data analysis and what works on your platform and what is the audience asking for. To go into something that is locally produced is not only supporting the local, but it's also a big budget. So to spend that budget, you have to have the trust that this content will actually work on your platform. So it's, again, the storyline, the production, the full package. If it's there and if it's adaptable with your platform and with what your audience is asking for, then definitely it's a no-brainer. You will go and invest in it. So every year we try to have on our platform one production that is locally. And this year we had Al-Wa'ad, which is a historical drama that talks about Al-Hilali. So it's something that we had this year. So every year we try to have that and work locally with someone in the region to cover the local production.
We had a lot of discussions around like international talents coming and doing something. But I think there are some limits in terms of what professions and what like areas in filmmaking you can cover with international kind of talents, still being local and still kind of telling the true local story. And I think that it's more on the stunt side or director of photography. You can somehow do it with international kind of crew, but within our commitment, I think we would prefer to enhance and empower and try to bring some expertise, but not replace the local talents with the foreign ones. Like more educate, create, raise, grow with them, having like our talents around and try to somehow like, as I said, like people want a local but with global value and quality. We will try to be committed to this kind of thing.
Yeah, Mohammed, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we always should give a chance for the local talents. If you look at the elements that given for the content production as well as a storyline and the quality of the production, whether director is a new talent or like local or international, there is a room, and that's again to the point, the room for risk. Taking that risk with the local talent and like a younger talent with a fresh blood, coming with a new storyline that might create a buzz. So that's a wild card that you play. So this is something that we definitely look into it and give them a chance. And as you said, Elena, that we need to grow with them.
Mohammed Ogaily, I have another question for you. Sure. How can OSN Plus stay relevant in such a competitive landscape with so many streamers popping up?
Sure. So it again goes back to what Mohammed just said. You need to be global, but you need to be local. What Elena also said earlier. We have our edge in the international content that is very relevant, that there's a lot of demand for, and that content is growing. There are a lot of super interesting shows coming up next year as well. But to complement that, we're working on the Arabic content, on the Turkish content, on more local productions. I think that's every platform you can look at, you'll see the niche, but that people come to it for, but also the more general appeal content that people stick around for. So it's that combination that we're trying to create here.
Elena, how can Yango Play really stand out from the competition?
I think I'm getting repetitive, but still with technology, of course, is because, as I said, we are not only in the business of storytelling, we're in the business of best possible product combining various scenarios of entertainment. So I think that this is our unique proposition, and this is what we brought to the market, and we want to develop, and we want to move on with that, maybe adding additional kind of entertainment options for our customers later on. So, and like in terms of content strategy, I think we pretty much covered the topic.
Farah, what do you believe is the formula for longevity for SVOD platforms in the region?
The formula is a combination. First of all, the capability of surviving the competition, which also is supplying content and always giving your audience what they want, catering to all genres, and the agility to adapt to shifting demands, which is also like you see this, it's like trends that comes and goes. So you always have to be able to adapt to this, the shifting demands of the audience. And I think it's important also the relationships that you have. As StarzPlay, we have our relationship with major telecom operators in the region. We have our relationship with Etisalat in UAE, STC in KSA, Ooredoo in Qatar, which extends the distribution footprint, and it enhances significantly our platform reach with the audience around the region. And also our footprint is now from Oman to Marrakesh, which is a long extended footprint. So you reach different viewers, and you serve, you diversify the type of genre that you're delivering because of the footprint you're covering. So I think it's also staying relevant in the domain itself and the technology. You cannot also shy from that. Evolving technology, always staying on top of that. It's a combination of different factors that you need to look at, and always staying relevant and staying up to date with the region. Never, you reach your peak and you think that's it. No, it's always growing. It's always evolving. There's always competition, new competition coming to the market and growing. So it's always it keeps this domain alive, and it keeps it competitive, which is a nice, clean competition, because this was also mentioned before, we complement each other. Each platform is delivering what the audience wants in a different way. So one platform complements the other, and it keeps the competition clean in the region.
Hamid, if you could change one thing in the streaming landscape today, what would it be?
So one thing that's really important is not having a streaming as a laid-back watching content. If you want to change it, it has to become a lifestyle. If you would reach the level for having your service as a lifestyle, as part of the lifestyle of your audience, this is something that you will ensure the retention and having your audience loyalty across the board and sustainability as well within the market competition that you have.
What do you mean as a lifestyle?
So for instance, if you know that you have an edge, right? If you bring in an edge to a service, pretty much users will come back after work, after a heavy day, a long day. They will just browse what's new, what you have new. Even if they're not watching, but they're just browsing and exploring, it's part of their lifestyle. It's part of their routine that they come to your service because they know that you're specialized in a certain area and you're bringing them an edge. That will be a success.
Mohammed Ogaily, if you could change one thing in the streaming landscape today, what would it be?
Just to second what Mohammed said, with what we did with Anghami and OSN Plus, it's us doubling down on that idea of being part of everyone's routine. So for our user base, we want you, once you get in the car, the first thing to think of is, I'm going to turn on Anghami. And the first time you get home, I'm going to turn on OSN Plus to find something to watch. So we're always top of mind. We're always thinking that if I want something, entertainment, I'm going to go to Anghami and OSN Plus together. What to change in this landscape? I think, as Farah said, we're complementary, and there's a lot that we can look at differently if we join forces sometimes rather than compete. There are a lot of opportunities in that,
How?
that aspect.
I'd love to know.
You'll see next year.
Okay.
I can only echo Mohammed because I think that the only thing that I would love to change is the prices for content. Because we're competing with each other, and because everybody is chasing exclusives, first runs, etc., etc. We are constantly rising prices well beyond, I would say, the reasonable business plan. But in my previous company, in the Walt Disney, they were saying that when there is a problem, it's not a problem, we call it a challenge. But there are no challenges, it's opportunity. So if we turn it into opportunity, I can just say that you are completely right. I think there is a way to collaborate, and there is a way to, and it's global trend, to finding new windowing strategies, to sharing core exclusives, to kind of collaborate with TV stations and have catch-ups, catch-forwards, whatever. We have it proven by, for example, Brag El Qanun, the series that we're sharing with Egyptian channels. It's worked perfectly for us. And there are lots of things, and also united effort in terms of anti-piracy, because it's a big thing. It's less here in UAE, but it's a huge thing in MENA region. And we can do it only together as a team and as kind of joint effort. We need to educate consumers and this up-and-coming young consumers about how to consume content legally. and why that piracy is not a victimless crime, I would say, because everybody struggled because of that. So I think there are a lot of things like that we should do as an industry. We have a commitment, for example, that all our subscribers, we take their fees and reinvest in the content that they demand. So they somehow indirectly become the producers of the content they demand and want to see. So there are lots of things we should do together and grow the market, not just our share of the market.
I love that. Farah? If you could change one thing?
Yeah, I would agree. It's joining forces in different aspects. Piracy is the major problem in the region that we have, and it's a big problem. I think, yeah, reducing the platforms to give the audience a more unified, strong content that I wouldn't say it's all under one platform, but just join forces and try to work more together to... I think the audience is a bit lost now. There's a lot of platforms in the region and content sometimes because of co-exclusivity or it runs from one platform to another, and there are ways to work on, but yeah, I think it's the access amount of platforms that we have now is just a bit confusing for the audience.
I have a fun question for you guys. Have you ever seen a show on another platform, a local platform, that you said, oh, I wish we did that? You were that impressed? And the answer could be no, but I'm just curious.
Okay, I'll be the brave one. Ashkal Shaka at Shahid. Loved it. Really loved it. The one with Asma Galal and about the family with 2 newborns and struggling with moms, nannies, etc. Last Ramadan series. Personally, loved it.
Love it. Who else?
Generally speaking, we cannot deny that Shahid's general content strategy for Ramadan is really, really good. And the shows they've produced last year...
The sheer volume, there's a lot.
But there is quality as well. And the quality in those shows, yes, I would say bravo on the stuff that they've done in Ramadan this year.
Farah? No. Mohammed?
Of course, I mean, for all the services that we've seen, there is always something that you would catch your eyes and say, wow. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be here all together now, right? So the success stories that each one had, it's supported by some shows that they brought to the platform that really catch your eyes and it's really nice. Whether it's, as you said, on Shahid, Yango, StarzPlay, I believe that we all been doing a great job bringing some great content that we admire and watch all across. So definitely this, of course.
I don't think we should look at it as you like envy or it gives you the
Healthy
motivation.
competition.
Yeah, it gives you the motivation also to take a risk for something that you didn't think of and just thinking about out the box and considering that idea for future maybe. So it just motivates you to look forward for new ideas maybe and invest in.
What about a global show you saw in the past year that really inspired you?
Well, now my memory will. You're the king of
Baby
shows.
Reindeer,
Yeah, well,
Ripley,
Baby
Dark
Reindeer.
Matter.
No, Baby Reindeer was tiring, but it was something to look at, and it's perspective also at how you look at things after you watch the show.
Do you think we can do something that controversial subject matter in the region?
It's a bit it's a bit controversial for the region. I'm not saying we don't have that type of people, and because it's a bit still taboo to like have that openness and put it on TV, but I think we are evolving and taking a bit more risk as a region in going out of the traditional storylines and being more, I don't know, like
Daring.
Daring. So yeah.
Elena, any global show you saw in the past year that you wished you could have as your own?
No, I'm with evergreens, I would say.
With what? Sorry.
With evergreens.
Yeah.
I mean, my heart is forever with the first couple of seasons of Billions. It's my piece of cake, definitely.
Mohammed Ogaily.
I was watching Ted Lasso again yesterday.
If you've never seen Ted Lasso, it's amazing on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, a lot of shows there are interesting as well. Yeah.
Mohammed.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is. I'm a different type. I mean, one of the best shows that I like personally, and I know that many people will disagree, but Emily in Paris, for instance, I like that.
It's
show
very light.
much.
It
Very
distracts
light,
us.
especially after a long day. You go home and watch it. It's very light, and you can binge watch it. It's amazing. for me,
That's
so.
the thing. You always need something light,
Light to
and
come.
I think we all agree that we always go back to Friends and just
always on the
continue
background.
from episode 10 in season 3 and just continue from there because it's something light. So other than the heavy drama that we watch and the brain, like you need to sit and focus, you always need the light, easy production, good looking, fashion, travel. Yeah, it's always there.
With
Everyone
a little
agrees
bit of
on that.
comedy as well. That's,
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for our panel? Badia. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. In the previous session by Ipsos, they quoted that the most watched online material, let alone the football, comes Arabic series, then Arabic movies, followed by Turkish, and then Western movies. Are your content strategies for the coming year reflecting this, investing in Arabic series and Arabic movies?
So, although the biggest piece of the pie is Arabic content, that does not necessarily mean we all should compete on that piece of the pie. In our case, no. We do understand the need for Arabic content and Turkish content, and we're investing in that. But our edge is not that. We don't want to compete on Arabic. We're competing on something that we're good at, and that's the strategy we're going to continue on. We're good with international drama, with international big shows, and we're going to continue with that, complementing it with Arabic, but we're not in the business of going full on competing on that Arabic piece of the pie.
Would anyone else like to add anything in the panel?
Agree with that.
Agreed. Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I've got a few. Firstly, Emily in Paris, great choice, great studio, good one. Secondly, to Mohammed Ogaily. So you said congratulations on Anghami deal. You said 18% uplift in a subscription sign up for OSN Plus. What do you contribute it to, given that I don't think you've changed user experience yet?
So what we've done actually is that in April we relaunched OSN Plus. We rebuilt it from scratch, from the ground up, on all platforms. It's a completely new experience.
It's much better, by the way.
Yeah.
It was very buggy before, so thank you.
Yeah, it's much faster now, much smoother experience. We've launched the premium tier. We've also launched the standard with ads tier recently. And we've been doing a lot of growth initiatives, whether product-led or content-led initiatives. In addition to the complementing it with Anghami and getting users from Anghami to OSN Plus and vice versa, this also contributed to that growth as well.
Well done, thank you. Second question. So Warner Brothers Discovery recently launched aggressively Max in Asia, 18 markets within a couple of months. They're not here yet. What is the sense from the industry? Are we worried? What is the outlook? How do we feel about it?
So we as OSN Plus and OSN as in general, we have a multi-year deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, which includes the Max content. And generally, we have a very strong relationship with them. It's a very strategic relationship for both of us. And we don't believe that this will change in the coming years.
So they're not coming anytime soon. You have the HBO stuff. Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you for this session. My question for Farah, probably. You were saying that your viewers prefer subtitles over the dubbing, and we actually heard it today before in the session in the early morning. So are we talking about English content or any language content like Korean, Turkish, Italian?
So we don't dub English content. English content is always as original language and it has the subtitles. But we're talking about Turkish and Korean, which comes in dubbed language and the original language. And that's where we are finding audience is more interested in watching Turkish and Korean content in the original language, but with the option to have it subtitled either in Arabic or in English. So we always have Arabic dubs, English and Arabic subtitles with the original language option. So it's Korean, Turkish are the main. And any international that is not English, we always keep the original language, even if it's French, because we use that in Morocco, for example. We keep it as French original with the option to have it dubbed in Arabic or subtitled. But English is always English.
Yeah, with English, it's kind of clear. It's surprisingly that people in MENA are willing to watch content in not their second language.
It's the voiceover that sometimes disturbs people.
Yeah.
So watching it in the original language gives them the joy to understand the characters also. So you can actually link the voice to the character, but then you read the subtitles.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, I've got a question. Just to follow on from what this lady was saying. So you're showing Korean content, but what about doing more about making local adaptations for Korean or Japanese titles, or like we're seeing the rise of manga and Japanese stories? I'd just like to know, is there an interest in that?
Well, there hasn't been an opportunity for that yet, but I think if the right approach comes and the idea is actually has appetite in the region to have that story adapted in Arabic, maybe it is an opportunity to look at. So when the opportunity comes, we'll take it from there. But yeah, not yet.
Hi, I'm from India, and just wanted to say that Dubai Bling is something that was watched amongst the urban demographic quite a bit. So my question to any of you is that would you consider like a co-production or collaboration with Bollywood or with India, given that it seems to have some sort of a market here in Dubai?
Who would like to take that one?
I'll do it. So there's, especially in UAE, as you said, there is a huge market for that. There's a huge market also in the region we're seeing for, speaking of Dubai Bling, for reality shows, that market is growing as well. But for Bollywood content, yes, there is a big appetite for it, but the appetite is condensed in UAE and in a couple other GCC markets. A collaboration probably makes sense, but again, if the opportunity comes in, it depends on that, and it depends how the size of that market, looking at the whole region together, not looking at UAE alone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi, I come from a platform as well, and I was curious, like, what's your current stance on East Asian content? For instance, I know we've talked about Korean drama, but also like Japanese anime or Chinese historical drama or Chinese animation. Like, are you in a stage that you're willing to explore more? Or are you still on the watch side, or what do you think the trend will be? Thank you.
So let me take that. I mean, I spoke about the anime, and anime, for instance, is really growing in the region, and we see a lot of interest. We invested in it, and we actually launched a brand called Otaku, and that's all for anime that's across the MENA region. So yeah, definitely there's something of interest, and it's part of the content strategy that we have.
First, good choice for Emily in Paris, but that not Paris.
First 10 years ago.
Yes. So my question, I'm from Morocco, And why aren't we see a pan-Arabic series with actors from Marrakesh to Amman? We can use subtitles for them.
Yeah, I think it's a bit a question of dialect, but it's not about that. I think you'll see more of that. I mean, it looks like because like Arabic content is booming in a variety of countries and in variety of and like it's and the countries are so mixed sometimes in population. I mean, look at UAE; it's like everybody is here, and I think like there is an opportunity. There's big opportunity within Pan-Arab series, and there are lots of them, frankly speaking, in the market. Like people are trying that, mixed in different culture, dialects. So I'm quite sure there would be big breakouts within this area.
Does anyone else have any questions for our panelists? Okay, wow. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I just have one question. Do you do analysis on like the attention span of your viewers based on the length of content?
For sure, this is one of the main metrics we look at when it comes to engagement, how much they're watching per session or in total of each series, how much they're completing, how many hours they're watching a day or a month. Those are very important metrics for us. And we look at it for new users versus existing users as well. And we look at those cohorts in different ways. We also segment them into the different interests they have and how many hours they watch. For us, a good, healthy user that is part of our core base is someone who's watching more than 20 hours a month worth of content. And then we segment that per category to see where those users are coming from so we can double down on those users.
Where can we see that data?
On my laptop.
Thank you so much to our panelists. Really, thank you for sharing all your insights. And everyone, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.